days from now, as of the recording of this video, Black Clover is going to return. The long-awaited return of Black Clover is finally here. No, I don't mean the anime, of course. The anime is rumored to return next year, 2025, somewhere around that time. It's not confirmed, but estimated to and rumored to return at such date. But we're talking manga over here, and the manga is set to return in 8 days from now, 8 to 9 days from now, approximately. And boy, are we excited for! We're starved, we're depraved, we are really desperate for this Black Clover chapter. We've been waiting months because, as you know, the Yuki Tabata, the author of Black Clover, switched quarterly, so his release schedule has changed to at least 3 to 4 months. So now, the last chapter we got was January, and that was a chapter focused around luck and luck. A decent chapter packed with action, and so we sat and we wait, and here's the time now. Black Clover finally returns. So if you're new here, thank you for clicking on the video. Today's video is going to be an interesting video, something that I've done many times and people always do. It's basically predictions for the upcoming chapter. And yeah, for my returning viewers, guys, thank you for sticking around, thank you for holding out. I know I've been gone for a bit, but here I am again, dropping some Black Clover content, and I still have some more videos lined up for you guys. So please look out for that, and if you're new here, look out for that also. Yeah, so today's video, guys, is basically Black Clover predictions. And so what I should have done is when we dropped the poll to ask you guys of many predictions, of your own predictions, but I'll follow up with something else, I promise. But today's video, I have some predictions that I think many of us are in favor of. There's not, based on how the last chapter ended, we know we're gonna get either in perspective of the Black Bulls or on the huge fights like Noel versus Aesir or Nacht versus Morgan. And speaking of Nacht versus Morgan, that's where my first prediction is coming from. If you guys don't know, Nacht and Morgan are twins, and they're born on basically April 29th, the last part of April, and one were born the day of the beginning of May, I believe. And so their birthday are right around the corner. As the releasing of this video, as the releasing of the chapter, it's gonna be Nacht's birthday, Nacht and Morgan's birthday, when the chapter drops. And seeing as though, you know, Tabata likes to play around with dates, and when he releases chapters, many of us speculated that the chapter to come is going to be focused around Nacht and Morgan. And so, where the last chapter dropped, 369, we got the return of Nacht and Ichika came in clutch, and they saved their boy Yami. And we know the connections between these two. Yami is the captain, Nacht is the vice captain, and his sister Ichika, and now they're reunited. So I think during this chapter, we're gonna get brief interaction between Yami and Ichika. And in that interaction, there could be an apology, some questions asked, or probably a little gag like, you know, where have you been so long, or just look at you. You know, you look silly in that t-shirt or whatever. You know, something. Maybe Ichika would give out some attitude to Yami, or Yami's gonna chuckle and say, hey, what's up, sis? Or something of the sort, you know? Something funny or something serious. Questions gonna be asked, but there's gonna be an interaction between Yami and Ichika. And from there on out, I believe we should and we deserve an interaction from Nacht and his dead brother Morgan in the form of the Paladin. And so this interaction is going to be quite emotional, as I don't think Nacht is emotionally ready to see his brother on the side of the enemies, and his brother that he, you know, so desperately wanted to be alive and died by his mistakes. And so this interaction is going to be very wholesome. It's going to be very touching reunion from Nacht and Morgan. And so we're going to get a brief interaction there between the both of them. So, brief interaction between siblings, if you realize, Yami and Ichika and Nacht and Morgan, both siblings, and both in the dark past behind them. And so with that, when we get an interaction, I do believe where the battle is going to commence, and from there on out, Nacht and Ichika are going to have a tag team, right? We both know that dark magic and shadow magic works and increases the synergy within the darkness, right? And with that, there's going to be a unique team up between Yami, Ichika, and Nacht. Now, exclude Yami there for a bit. I know I said Nacht and Ichika, because I think Yami is going to be down for the count, unless he gets an awakening in mid-battle. But Nacht and Ichika is going to tag team against Morgan in this battle, and there on out, I feel like we're going to get to see the power up both Nacht and Ichika received from Asta's new technique brought to him by the Demon Dweller, right? And with that, we're gonna see the strength they required and the hacks. We don't know how much stronger the anti-magic energy grants Nacht, but in this battle, we're gonna see that strength. And from there on out, we can either see them holding her up against Morgan and make Morgan proceed to take the battle much more seriously and acknowledge their strength. And from there on out, the fight can continue into a cliffhanger, or maybe the tides change into Morgan's favor, but we don't know. But I do believe there's going to be a battle between both Morgan, Nacht, and Ichika for there on out. And then the perspective is going to change to another huge battle during the end of that chapter. And now, in the perspective that I think is going to happen there, it's going to be into my next chapter prediction. That's going to be Morris versus Mereoleona.
Might not be the most exciting one on the list, as compared to the likes of Nacht versus Morgan and Aesir versus Noel. But it is a hype battle, and it really does showcase the strength and the willpower of the Crimson Lion Kings and the formidableness of Mereoleona. And the last battle, the part one of this fight, ended off with Mereoleona landing a last-ditch attack at Morris using her monozone Kalidas Brachium attack, right? And many will speculate that with the likes of Morris's strength, when you take in consideration his strength and his hacks and his overall intellect and the power that he has been granted by Lucius, he is not going to go down so easily. And with this attack that Mereoleona will attack him with, it's not going to do the job. It's not going to take him out. And as a result of this, I feel as though Mereoleona's attack will fail, and that will leave her unable to fight, or handicapped, or at a disadvantage, right? And that will leave a weakened Morris to basically recuperate and strike for an counter attack. And that spells trouble, for we cannot losing the likes of Mereoleona, one of the top 5 mages in the Clover Kingdom, to Morris is going to put the mages to put Clover Kingdom at a huge disadvantage. So something has to go on here. Mereoleona can't just go out like this. And what I think will happen is someone will aid her. Someone will replace her or help her. And who that I think is a perfect candidate for that is her younger sibling Leopold. Leopold, a long-awaited character, a character that's been vanished from the story for chapters, hundreds of chapters, a couple of chapters. Yeah, you get the point. He has been absent from the story for quite a while, and many of us have been speculating his long-awaited return. And I do believe this is a perfect situation and the perfect setup for her sibling to come and help her. For her other sibling, Fogolion, is placed in a very sticky situation where he can't help her, for he's protecting the citizens against these angels, right? That's all he's been good for, protecting civilians against Father. That's what Sabata has set him up to do. So that's what he's doing. So I think a perfect situation here for Leopold, a character that's been vanished with the story for a long while, the sibling of one of our favorite characters, Mereoleona, comes in and showcases his newfound strength that we're yet to see. Ultimate magic, it's ultimate flame magic. And so from there on out, he could at least help her or replace her in the battle against Morris. Maybe his heat power, maybe his ultimate magic can counter Morris's decomposition. Maybe he has a new transformation, a new spell, something that could counter Morris. And I do believe that Leopold could come in clutch. And if it's not Leopold, it's someone else acquainted with Mereoleona. I don't know who that could be. Maybe it's not on top of my head right now, but aside from that, I'd also like for Fogolion to get an awakening. I do believe it's time for Fogolion to step up and showcase his, give us a brighter moment. Tabata has always liked giving captains, giving characters their bright moment. He doesn't just leave them on the sidelines and, have them do this for the rest of the story. Have them do father control or, do that for the rest of the story. So I do believe that Tabata will not allow for Fogolion to just be, classified as a fraud, as the fads call him, Fraudolion, the user of the flame spirit, the fire spirit. Fogolion might or should at least get an awakening during this battle. And I do believe during his awakening, he could distinguish all these angels that are causing him trouble and come and aid his sister against the likes of Morris, right? If that doesn't happen, of course, like I stated before, Leopold could come and just help her instead. And if that doesn't happen, what could also happen here is a triple team up between the three siblings, or one or the other. It doesn't matter. But I also like a team up between the Vermilion siblings. That I think that'd be pretty cool. That could be a good way for this chapter to go out, right? Where we have awakened Fugolion, whether it be spirit by or not, and Leopold coming clutch to save their sibling Mereoleona. Whether she's down or out, or she's gonna help them too. One way or the other, I like for the Vermilion siblings to have more relevancy in this arc, aside from Mereoleona. And so yeah, and from there on out, I think the chapter could end with another huge battle perspective, likely Aesir versus Noel. And during this battle, we could get more interaction between the siblings, that being Nozel and Noel, towards their battle against their mother, um, the Nebra and Solid. They witnessed their sister's newfound strength. They acknowledge that they need to aid her more in this battle, and from there on out, we could even get an awakening from Nozel himself, um, to counter, so basically aid his sister more in this fight against the paladinized mother. So that could also be a nice little parallel from there with Volian and Nozel, seen as their rivals. We could have them both awakened mid-battle and save their siblings, or vice versa, whether or not it goes that way. So I think that could be a nice way for the chapter, for the next chapter, because if I haven't said it before, there's two chapters coming out. Um, Nacht versus Morgan. I do believe the first chapter will be focused around them for their birthdays around that corner. And yeah, and now the next chapter could lead into a next battle being Mereoleona versus Morris. And during that battle, during the end of that chapter, the perspective can shift to Aesir and Nozel versus Noel. And from there on out, we could see the state of that fight, and perhaps even get a reaction of Lucius, something of the state of the war against, from with Asta's return to the battlefield, and how the tides have been changing in the battlefield. I think we could get a reaction from Lucius, some Lucius crumbs, something to give the fans something to look forward to. Perhaps he could reveal more of his plans, something he has set up somewhere else in another kingdom with Adramelech or something interesting. So I do believe that the chapters could include both Nacht versus Paladin Morgan with the likes of Yami and Ichika. Then the next chapter could lean more towards Morris versus Mereoleona, and how could this end into chapter, into another battle perspective, or maybe another perspective like Lucius's or Adramelech or something of the sort. So yeah, that's my expectations, that's my predictions for the chapters to come, guys. I know it's been a long wait. I know I've been absent from YouTube for a while. Trust me, Black Clover has very little topics to cover, so I have to be very lenient with how I release these videos, and I also have a little things going on in my own personal life. But thank you for listening. If you have listened this far, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. We cover Black Clover all the way in here, and I will cover the chapter when it drops and any Black Clover topics that we need to cover. So yeah, without further ado, thank you for stopping by. Drop your predictions down below. I'd like to hear from you guys too. So yeah, peace out.